f of x plus h minus f of x over h, where h cannot equal 0. So basically, this is the introduction to limits. So h cannot be 0 because if h is 0, of course the number does not exist. So they want us to evaluate this function. The function f of x is equal to negative x squared plus 4x plus 7. So the first thing we're going to do, they said replace the x's with x plus h. So every x down here, we're going to replace with x plus h, but we have to make sure we replace it in parentheses so the signs can follow throughout. So first, f of x plus h. So we have negative. We replace the x with x plus h squared plus 4 times, we have to replace this x with x plus h plus 7. And then it says to subtract f of x. And we have to replace that in parentheses so the negative can follow throughout the operation, because it's minusing all of f of x. So we minus negative x squared plus 4x plus 7, and then it's all over h. So we put this whole thing over h. And now we have to evaluate it. So if I'm evaluating this binomial, it is using what I know about binomial expansion. It's going to be, make sure I put in parentheses because the negative is on the outside. So it's going to be x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. And that's just what I know about the binomial expansion theory. And then I have to distribute this 4 on the inside of this parentheses. So I distribute the 4, that's 4x plus 4h plus 7. And then I have to distribute this negative throughout the parentheses. So when I distribute the negative, it's like multiplying by -1. So I multiply everything by -1. Negative times a negative is a positive. So positive x squared. Negative times a positive is a negative, so negative 4x. Negative times a positive is a negative, so negative 7. And then it's all over h. But I still have this negative on the outside, so I have to distribute that inside. So I have negative x squared minus 2xh minus h squared. And then I just continue writing the rest of the numbers. Don't laugh at my video. You're about to get chopped up. Okay. And so after I do that, I need to put the like terms together. So my first like term is negative x squared plus x squared. And then my next like term is going to be the 4x with the negative 4x. And then the next one, Callie, you're going to get your butt whipped. Don't play with me. It's the 7 with the negative 7. And then I write the remaining terms. So it's going to be negative 2xh minus h squared plus 4h. And that's it. All over h. Okay. So of course these cancel out. That's 0. These cancel out. That's 0. And these cancel out. That's 0. So it only leaves these terms. So that's negative 2xh negative h squared plus the 4h all over h. And so the next thing I notice, they all have h in common. So that means I can pull out one h. So I pull out one h up front, and then I write the remaining. The remaining right here is negative 2x because that h is gone. This had two h's, so that means one h remains, so negative h. And then that h is gone, so it only has the 4 all over h. And since it's h over h divided by h is just 1. So that cancels out, and it leaves negative 2x minus h plus 4. And that's the end. And so if we were talking about limits, if this is the end, that's how far you would go. Y'all probably move on to, if I said the limit as h approaches 0, then I can let h be 0. And so the limit as h approaches 0 would be negative 2x plus 4. Okay? Already else. That's the end.